Bum bum da 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 bum bum da.
Okay, I'm back. Howdy. What's going on? As you could tell from the title of this video, this is going to be part 2. It's been requested. I will provide. This is part 2. If you've watched this K-drama, you might want to try and read this book. You might like it. But these are clearly my own opinions. And you guys will see how I got to these suggestions. So first up, we're going to start with my favorite K-drama. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video. I hope I didn't. But my favorite K-drama is called One Spring Night. I think I did bring it up. Did I? I have rewatched this show so many times. I find parts that are so funny that no one will know what I'm talking about. Like, it's not that funny when you see it, but like, I think it's hilarious because I've seen this show so many times. I'm laughing at parts that aren't even meant to be funny. The show is called One Spring Night. It stars, I think his name's Jung Hae-in. He's the guy in DP. He's also the guy he's in Tune In for Love. He's in Snowdrop, Strangers in the Rain. It stars Jung Hae-in and Han Ji-min, and they start a romance that really gets me going. It is mild adultery. So the thing about this director or writer of the show, they like to write like romances kind of based on taboos, and I got sucked into this one. So when she meets this guy, she technically has a man and they are thinking about marriage, so she is with another man. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, she's like, you know, that's just kind of the plot, you know, mild adultery or cheating, you know, so trigger warning for that. But that brings me into another favorite author of mine, which I've mentioned before, Abby Jimenez. She has a Barbie World series, which I love, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about her other series, the Friend Zone series. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, I think, is a perfect pair for One Spring Night. I think it's a little bit lighter than One Spring Night, but I won't even say that. I think it's a perfect pair for One Spring Night because this woman, you know, she ends up meeting a guy while she's dating someone else. It's literally the same plot of One Spring Night. It's a similar plot that made me squeal when I was reading it. So, you know, essentially he is friend zoned, and that's the zone they're going to be in because she is a taken girl, so they can only be friends. So there's clearly no drama there, right? Clearly no drama there. So if you are a fan of One Spring Night, this is not as slow as a burn as One Spring Night. I would say it's a lot of fun. The characters are great. The characters are fun, and you are in for a treat. So pick that up if you want a good time. All right, next on my list. Okay, y'all. There might be a trend where you're starting to notice that the K-dramas I'm watching might be a little messy, but this one is the messiest of all. This is a very soapy K-drama. It's called Perfect Marriage Revenge. You know when it's good when they can't even describe like what's going on. Perfect Marriage Revenge. They just said let's put the key words in there, and that's the title. That's the English title. Perfect Marriage Revenge, y'all. It is so messy. You have to watch it if you haven't. This show is a little fantasy because there is a second chance at life type thing. And that's why I picked this book. Perfect Marriage Revenge follows this woman who gets another chance at, you know, redoing her life pretty much, and she wants to fix the things that happened to her. So she is kind of on a revenge track to like right some wrongs, if you know what I mean. She's trying to right some wrongs. And I was sitting and I was like, what book do I want to do for this? And I had a lot of different options. But I finally settled on Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Now you're gonna be like, Monique, what? Yes, this K-drama has nothing to do with vampires or werewolves. It's not an Omegaverse type show, but I think like once you have seen Perfect Marriage Revenge, you'll understand why I picked Bride, because I feel like the relationship between the characters matches perfectly in my mind. The main person in Bride, she has a very tumultuous relationship with her family. They're, you know, not as close, her and her father, and that can have a parallel to our main character in Perfect Marriage Revenge. And then we have a guy who is like a, you know, reprieve, and they have to kind of form an alliance together. They're kind of put into a marriage, you know, a marriage of convenience, if you will. And that is on both sides, the show and the book. So that's why that book is, I think, perfect. It's Bride by Ailey Hazelwood. It's a very cute time. And if you like this show, I think you will like the drama that comes from Bride. Oh, I forgot to put this on here. Oh, I forgot to put this on here. Y'all, I have The Bequeathed. Okay. The Bequeathed is technically a horror K-drama. I liked it. It was kind of weird. It wasn't weird in like, it was kind of weird, but it was weird because of the character dynamics with each other. So The Bequeathed follows this woman who is married, and she kind of just, you know, is tired of the way things are going. It comes out that her, you know, she's just not happy with her relationship. She's not happy with like how her career is treating her. And she ends up getting this like inheritance from a distant relative that she didn't know anything about, and all the drama that comes with that. I chose I'm Thinking of Ending Things for the book because of, first of all, the genre. It's horror. It's very weird. There's lots of plot twists in here, and it's about someone who's kind of over the relationship. As you can tell, I'm thinking of ending things. So there's a lot of reveals in the show that I think if you like those type of reveals, you'll enjoy a book like this. Now, mind you, this is not an exact carbon copy like the others that like One Spring Night, Friend Zone. But this, I think, is going to be really fun. And I just wanted to bring this book back up because I read this so long ago, and I was like, this would be really good. So I'm Thinking of Ending Things follows a couple going back home, and one of the people in the relationship is thinking of ending things. So yeah, and it's very scary. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. And I really liked The Bequeathed for similar reasons. So if you want something scary that you might have available, I say pick this up. Next. Oh, I didn't even grab it. Hold on, I have to grab this book because this is literally the reason I made this video. If y'all are watching K-dramas, there is a cultural moment happening right now, and it's called Lovely Runner existing in the world, okay? Lovely Runner, I don't think I'll ever, like, I want to be able to watch that again for the first time, but I'm never gonna get that back. Lovely Runner is such a delight. This is a Lovely Runner stan account. We love everybody in Lovely Runner. Everyone, the show is so sweet, so wholesome, and it's just such a good time. You have to, if you haven't watched Lovely Runner, stop what you're doing and give that a chance. It's on Viki. It's such a good show. And someone had suggested, they were like, hey, I want a book based off Lovely Runner. I was like, I have the exact book you want because I picked this up by accident. And I was like, oh my God, this is literally the plot of Lovely Runner. I would also link it to, I actually never finished Twinkling Watermelon, but I would also kind of link it to Twinkling Watermelon because I got to episode like 8 or 9, so I know the vibe of the show. So I think I could also compare it. But this book, if you want a show like Lovely Runner, you have to read this manga called Orange. You have to. I think it's literally, it was just such a sweet time. I picked it up and I was like, wait a second, this is so much similar to the plot of Lovely Runner. Lovely Runner, it's about a fan of a K-pop idol. She loves this fan. This K-pop idol, seemingly in her head, has saved her life. Like, she thanks him so much for giving her a, just a newfound determination to live. She was in a really rough spot in the start of the show, and so that, because of the words that uplifted her, encouraged her to live, she became a stan, like a true stan. And something horrible happens, and the K-pop idol Sunjae was found, dead. And it was just such a tragedy that she wanted to change it so much that she was able to find herself back in 2008 at high school, where she didn't realize back in that she knew him when she was younger. And it just starts a whole tale about trying, you know, to keep him alive, pretty much. And that's The Lovely Runner. It is a romantic, wholesome tale of love and happiness and sadness and loveliness. It is so good. And then you have Orange by Ichigo Takano. It is a similar premise. It's a manga. The manga is not this big. This is a bind up of the first 3 volumes, so don't be scared. But I feel like this is the best way to read it because I borrowed this from my friend, but like this is, I think, the best way to read it. I'm gonna buy all the bind ups and have my own. This is called Orange. Bring it up close so y'all can see. So Orange follows Naho. She's like is starting in the 11th grade, and she ends up getting a letter from her future self 10 years in the future, and she's like, this isn't real. She's just like, no, this is not real, whatever. But this things start happening that the letter said would happen, and she's like, wait a second, that's strange. So that's when she realizes that she might need to take this letter seriously, because in the letter it says that she needs to save a new transfer student that was coming in. And so it's just kind of follows all the things to like keep this student right here, Kakeru, alive 10 years from now. And it's just such a sweet tale. It's very wholesome, and it gives me very similar vibes to Lovely Runner. Also, Lovely Runner is based on a webtoon, so if you're just wanting to read that story again, maybe see how different it is from the adaptation. I haven't read it, so I'm saving that for a rainy day, but I think Orange will be the right book for Lovely Runner. Also, Twinkling Watermelon. Twinkling Watermelon is a little different because of the like parental element of the story, so I haven't found an exact copy for that yet, but I will keep an eye out and maybe make another video, or maybe just comment down below when I find a good suggestion for Twinkling Watermelon. But I think, you know, this again has a time travel trope. They go back. It's not really you go back, you just get a letter and you try to do things over again. But I think this is a great option for Lovely Runner though, for real. Next on the list, oh I spoke too soon. I literally spoke too soon because I did find, oh wait, Monique, what? I forgot. It's literally sitting right here in front of me. I had a recommendation for Twinkling Watermelon. But this is, again, my recommendation for Twinkling Watermelon is only based on like the episodes I've seen. So I've only seen like 9 episodes of that show. It's not an exact match. This is a theme we're noticing for these suggestions, recommendations. So Twinkling Watermelon follows this son who kind of gets in an argument with his dad, and you know, he says some things he doesn't mean, and it's all because, you know, his dad doesn't want him to be in this band. He doesn't want him to pursue music. He wants him to, you know, have a career outside of music, and the son does not agree. So they have this really bad fight, and the son ends up going into this music shop where he's just like, you know, he's very regretful for the things that he said, and he's just like over everything. So he goes to sell his guitar at this music shop, but the music shop isn't just a music shop. And when he exits the music shop, he's suddenly in 1995 hanging out and runs into his father, his father when he was a teenager. And it's just kind of exploring that whole relationship, and it's really sweet, and you know, it involves music. It's just a really good show. I only watched up to episode 9, but that's just because I had to put it on pause for other things. But I recommend the show. A lot of people love that show. It's like one of the most popular ones from 2023, Twinkling Watermelon. So when I was asked to think of a recommendation, I didn't think I had one because I don't have a book exactly like that. But then I saw this on my shelf. I forgot about Midnight Library. I love Midnight Library. It's by Matt Haig, and it follows this girl who is very depressed. This woman who's very depressed, and she's just, you know, she's just not happy with how she's doing things in life. She thinks she's let everyone down, and then she finds herself in the Midnight Library, and she has a chance to make things right. So the premise of Midnight Library is like, it's like a way for her to redo things that she did in her life. So like all the books in the library are moments in her life where she could like make different choices. And I thought this would be kind of similar to Twinkling Watermelon because while, you know, they can't redo every single moment, she is able to like our main character in Twinkling Watermelon, he's able to like kind of see things came to be, and I think that is what happens also in Midnight Library. She like appreciates all the choices that she's made along the way, and I think it's just a really good story about life and like how you want to live your life, and you know how people in your life love you. And I liked it. I think it's a great book, and I think it matches Twinkling Watermelon. Next up on my list, okay, now we're getting into different ones that I really like, but people might not even know these shows exist. The next one is called My Unfamiliar Family. This is a theme, y'all. I like shows that have a little messy drama, family drama. I'm sure you guys know, if you've watched this channel, you guys know I love a book with drama in it too. And that brings me to my next recommendation, Black Cake. I love Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. It follows a family who is getting the will read from their mother, and the mom has a family secret that she needs to tell her kids, and it kind of, you know, warps into a very global tale, you know, just about this mom's life and all that she's been through, and how she was able to build the family that she has, you know, now in California. And it's so good, so moving. This was a debut novel, I believe. It was just such a good book. It was honestly one of the best books I've read in the recent time. So Black Cake had to make it into my recommendation. But what show is like Black Cake? I'm gonna say it's The Unfamiliar Family. My Unfamiliar Family follows a family that's kind of having a rough patch. There are two estranged sisters that don't get along. The parent of the children, the wife is kind of exhausted. The dad is, you know, they're kind of becoming more distant. You know, she's like, you know, they kind of don't want to keep going in the motions of this marriage. And it kind of just is a breakdown in the family. And a major thing happens, and they kind of have to come together and like visit and, you know, learn to love each other again and be a family. And I really love that about the show. It is a slow burn of a show, but I think it's definitely character driven, and I like that, and I find it similar to Black Cake. I think it's one of the few family dramas, Korean family dramas I've watched that really like talked about a lot of different part, like a lot of the reveals, I think are kind of addressed in this book similarly. Like, they're not exact, obviously, because this woman had a whole different life compared to the, you know, the family in Unfamiliar Family. But I think that if you like a show where you learn about how people came to be, how families were built, then you'll like this book. And then lastly, I have To Be Taught If Fortunate. To Be Taught If Fortunate is one of my favorite sci-fis. Look at this novella. It's perfect. Becky Chambers can do no wrong, and I have to make sure I suggest to Becky Chambers once in one of these. This book is about scientists that have really, like, they're just really good at space flight now, and they're able to go really far out, and it's called somaforming. It's a revolutionary method known as somaforming that can survive in hostile environments off Earth using biological supplementations. So it's just about this crew and how they're on like a research mission, you know, for Earth, and they're just kind of like, you know, learning lessons along the way, and they just kind of chronicle that journey. I really love this. I feel like Becky Chambers was really good at diving into like philosophical themes when she's writing a book. I picked this for the show The Silent Sea, because you know I can't go a moment without talking about Gong Yoo and his beautiful face. But I love Gong Yoo. He's a great actor. You might have seen him in Train to Busan, the show Goblin, and countless other things. Coffee Prince. He is an actor, okay? He's an actor. But he was in a sci-fi with Bae Joon-ho, one of my other favorite actors. They were in a sci-fi together, and they kind of are going to... It's a thriller, so it's not too much about... it's a thriller, but it's just about going to space, and they're like recovering some lost research on, I think, the moon, and things start happening. So it is a similar book. I think if you want a standalone sci-fi series, try to watch Silent Sea. You might like it. It's a slow burn. I would not say this is a slow burn, but it is a little dense for the size. I think, you know, we get into some heavy themes, but over the other than that, those are my suggestions, my recommendations. If you like these shows, let me know if you've seen them. Let me know if you have read these books. Let me know if I'm completely off and you think I should try again, because I will. I'm glad to do it. But yeah, I love making these. I love watching new stuff, so let me know what you guys are watching, reading, and I will add it to the list because I consume media. I consume media and I put media back out there. It's a
bum bum da 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 bum bum da.